Well, good morning, everyone. We want to say welcome to the State of the City Address. I am Pastor Terrell Jones of Renovation Life Church, and we're going to join together in a time of prayer. So I'm going to ask if you would bow your heads with me as we pray. Father, we thank you that your eyes are upon us and that your ear is open to our prayer. Part of the admonishment of your word is that we would pray for all that are in authority, that we would pray for our city, that by it we might live a quiet and peaceable life in all godliness and honesty. So, Father, we pray now for our mayor. We pray for this administration. We pray for every leader, every pastor, every business owner, all those that sit in seats of decision, influence, and authority. And we pray, God, that your Holy Spirit will continue to guide each one by your wisdom and by your counsel, that we might be led by you, that the city of Muncie might truly become what you have ordained and designed for it to be. We pray, God, that you would touch our education system, our community, all of our city, and every person that dwells in it. We pray, God, that you would lead and guide them. We pray for your blessing over the work of this city, Lord, that you would prosper the work of our hands, and that by it, this city might be revealed and exposed to cities around, that it might garner national attention for what you will do here. We pray your blessing and your favor upon it. And I'm going to ask if everyone would join me together as we declare the Lord's Prayer in the conclusion of this prayer. I see it only fitting to do so. If you would repeat after me, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Good morning. I'm Preston Cross. Would you please stand for the national anthem? It's an honor to be asked to do this for an old jarhead. So it says on that I'm a retired banker, not a retired Marine. So if everybody would say the pledge with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and God bless America.
Good morning. This is a great looking crowd here this morning. And my name is Richard Ivey, and I'm here to do the introduction of our keynote speaker. So, good morning, everyone. It is truly an honor to be here with you today as we gotta get them glasses on, as we reflect on the progress and vision of our city. But before we dive into the State of the City address, I'd like to share a few thoughts. I met Dan 6 years ago and had the privilege of serving alongside him for 5 years, 5 incredible years. As deputy mayor, I witnessed firsthand the unwavering commitment of our community, his strategic thinking, and most important, his genuine love for the people of Muncie. Dan's leadership was about more than just making decisions. It's been about building relationships, fostering collaboration, and always putting Muncie first. Dan's ability to listen, his dedication to problem solving, and his relentless drive to improve the quality of life for all Muncie residents are a few of the qualities that make Dan an outstanding leader. I cherish the time we worked together, and I am proud to see how he continues to lead our city forward with passion and purpose. Dan has a proven track record of commitment to both public service and business and has shown exemplary dedication as a leader of the city through his ability to take various tasks simultaneously. The price of success is hard work. Dan's commitment to the job at hand, whether he wins or loses, is met with his best efforts to complete the task at hand. Dan, through experience, understands that dreams do not become reality through magic, smoke, or mirrors, but through hard work, determination, sweat equity, and sometimes tears. Even when he's not at his best, he strives to have a day that matters because life's actions are always a choice. As a leader, you must make decisions that are sometimes not popular, and Dan would be the first to admit all decisions are not perfect. This humbleness is a rare quality in our society, especially in the political arena. Our speaker is a God-fearing man who embodies the spirit of Muncie and its bright future, who puts the community and others first, which is always a rare quality in any profession. I personally admire Dan because of his wisdom, generous heart, caring spirit, and unquestionable principles, and I am proud to call him my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Dan Ridenour.
I'll take that folder.
You got all those notes?
Well, I'll take the folder.
You take the photo.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you so much. How's that? Well, thank you, Richard. Richard served as deputy mayor. We were very appreciative of his time and many decisions, and I'll reference some of those as we go through today. He was a part of and influential, and I appreciated having him at a seat at this table. And we appreciate his service now as the HR director with the Muncie Sanitary District, I get to see him on a regular basis. He's just on the first floor instead of the third floor. So thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank God for the opportunity that he gave me to be in this position, to where I can have influence on the city that I love. that all comes from him. But I also want to thank a number of people that are here in the room. There's a number of people who put this whole presentation together. And by presentation, I mean we did everything but hang the lights. That's Horizon Convention Center, these sparkly lights. And it's wonderful to be here in the beautiful Horizon Convention Center. We have been able to increase the attendance every single year for this event, and we outgrew the other facilities where we held this event. And I view that as a positive, and very thankful that we were able to work everything out with Horizon and have it here. And I'm so thankful that all of you are here today to be a part of this. It's important that we know what's happening in the city, and it's important that you hear some of the things and reasons that maybe things happen the way they do. And there's a lot of collaboration that goes as a part of that. The people who have mostly helped with this particular event are Shireen Wagley, who is my executive assistant, so I greatly appreciate her. Not when she puts 5 events on my calendar for a particular day. I tell her, hold it to 4. But we've had several. There were 8 or 9 different events. But I greatly appreciate what you do. Amber Green is another one who's been very involved in this event. Mark Slusher in the back, who is videotaping this, and Dustin Clark has helped me. I love technology. I'm just not that good at it. So this presentation you're going to see is not something that I personally put together. Maybe some of the words, definitely the statistics, those types of things. I provided that information, but Dustin Clark did much of that for me. I want to thank Pastor Terrell. Thank you so much. I knew you would hit it out of the park, and you always do. And we have a Pray with the Mayor on a monthly basis at City Hall, and most of the times you're there, and I greatly appreciate hearing you and having communications with you. Thank you so much, and your lovely wife, who worked with me at Mutual Bank at one time, years ago. It seems like years ago. I want to thank Steve Lindell, who's over there with Wolfboom Radio, WMUN. They're going to be broadcasting this live. We started a little early, so I don't know. They're going to probably miss a lot of this portion of the presentation. But thank you for what they do in bringing the news of Muncie to the forefront. They do it on the radio, and they do it through the Muncie Journal. If you don't go to munciejournal.com, I would encourage you to do so. It provides good information on what's happening in our community, and that can be a challenge for cities and for businesses that are trying to showcase what good things are happening for them. I also want to recognize if you are a county elected official, and there are several here. So I've seen commissioners, I've seen county council members. There might be a coroner, I don't know. But if you would, please stand and be recognized if you're a county elected official. So thank you for being here. To those county officials, and we will continue to work together. We've got some partnerships that are coming up that are almost finished, and when those happen, you'll see the city and county working well together going forward on a number of instances where I think it will be beneficial for Delaware County and for the city of Muncie, and we're excited about that. We also have some local elected officials, meaning city officials. So if you are a elected city council member, several of you are here today. If you would please stand and be recognized. So thank you to you and for all you do. You know, we don't always agree, and many are of a different political party than mine, but I will tell you that even though it was 2 hours and 47 minutes at the Monday night council meeting, all the votes were 9-0. There's a lot of communication and a lot of questions, but all the votes in this particular case were 9-0, and that says a lot. Questions are good, so getting that information out there is helpful, and I appreciate the activity and the serving. We know it's a challenge, and we know it's not always the easiest thing. Are there any mayors from other cities here? Oh, there is one. So my good friend Chris Jensen, Mayor of Noblesville, if you would stand. Chris and I regularly communicate, and often I'll go, and he's come here, we've had lunch, and he's very, very active in AIM, which is our organization for city employees primarily, and I greatly appreciate your guidance and help and assistance and the fact that you're here today. But mostly, I want to thank my wife, Sherry. If you would stand, please. She just rolled her eyes. So, without her, none of this is possible. I'm trying not to get emotional, but and I'm failing. But as mayor, it's interesting that you get blamed for things that you didn't even know was happening because it has nothing to do with the city, and you also receive praise for things that happened that maybe were private and you didn't know about. But you also get a lot of comments made and things, and Sherry endures that. It rolls off my back because I know that I have a strong faith. I know I'm doing what is good for the city, and communicating and try and do everything the way we're supposed to do it. But it can be a challenge for family members, and it certainly is not a 40-hour-a-week job. It's probably, for me, it's much more, 70 or 80. I love what I do. I love this city, and I love what I do. So, let me get this rolling. I might be good on timing now, but I don't know. But I did want to thank some people. So, today, the state of the city of Muncie, Indiana. And it says putting Muncie on the map, and we'll go into some details as to what that's all about. So basically, we're talking about a lot of the things that we are doing in the city that have to do with quality of life, quality of place. You're going to hear that. And so I don't know, how many of you have seen a fence around a small section right by City Hall where you come across Wheeling and you can go High Street, or you can take Franklin. And so the reason that fence is there is not because there's a huge sanitary district pipe underneath it, and therefore it's not valuable to any developers. But that fence is around there because this is what we're in the process of building. And I know Flatland is here, but it's being done locally. It was designed by Ernstberger, I believe, primarily. And but anyway, this is a gateway to our downtown. So when you come across that bridge coming from Ball State into downtown, this is what you're going to see. And it's part of the quality of life, quality of place that we're attempting to put together. It's part of that. This is a little closer. So you can see how happy everybody is. They're thrilled to be here in Muncie. They're all the I in Muncie. Not that any city's ever done that before. But we wanted something visual. We wanted something that had trees. We wanted something that was at the very start of downtown. We've got a nice piece on the south side, just outside there, the roundabout. I think that's a really nice piece on the south side of downtown, and this will be on the north side of downtown. So we're very happy about it. These three things are what we're mostly going to talk about. There are a lot of things that go into quality of place. But I'm going to talk mostly about these three areas, and that's public spaces, what we're doing in our parks and public spaces like this, what we're doing with housing, because we know we have a massive need, and we'll talk about some of that and how we've addressed those, and then what we're doing with infrastructure. And infrastructure can mean a lot of things. A lot of people think that's roads and streets, and we're certainly doing work on those. That will never end. But there's other parts to infrastructure, which is the people doing the work, the city employees doing the work for all of you to make our city better, which then helps the county be better, which helps the state be better, which helps the country and the world be better. And so that's part, in my mind, that is part of the infrastructure that we're going to talk about. So something else that provides a good quality of place item is the YMCA. So I don't know how many of you have had a chance to tour it already, but we finally have this YMCA being built between downtown and Muncie Central. It's right on Muncie Central property. It is a $32 million facility. It is incredible inside. When you get inside, you realize it's much larger than it looks from the exterior. $32 million. They have a ribbon cutting on this Saturday, and the grand opening is on Monday, and I can't wait. It's only a block and a half from my house. So I'm real thrilled about that, and it's only a block and a half from City Hall. So I would always go to the downtown, or often went to the downtown Y to swim at lunch, and now I can walk up to the Y, and we'll probably start swimming again. So anyway, and there are a lot of partners involved in this, and I will say the city put $2.1 million into that $32 million. Now, the way we did that was not with our funds, and you'll find that this is how we've tried to do a lot of the advancements that we've had, is not using our funds necessarily, but we took $1 million from Ready that could have gone toward us, but we put $1 million of it directly into the campaign to make sure that they were able to raise that $32 million. And then the rest, we bought the old Y, and we've since sold the old Y, and we also put in cash out of edit funds into the Y to make sure that they hit that $32 million figure so that they can build this beautiful facility. It's going to have 3 different pool areas. I'll call them pool areas. There's 2 different pools, but there's a third area, and I'll talk about it just briefly. But the lanes you see on, I guess that's on your left there, that is the lap pool. And that is where Muncie Central will have all of their swim events going forward. So they're going to that's part of the collaboration, is the Muncie schools. And I understand the water will be a little cooler than what they call the warm pool. And the warm pool over there has some other lanes, but we'll also have water aerobics and other things. And then there's also an indoor little splash pad. So yes, another splash pad. I know we've built 4. This will be another one, but this one's indoor. So it's a great facility, a big part of quality of place. A big part of quality of place. And it took many, many organizations to make it happen. And the city was a part of that. And we were very supportive of it. And I love the location. So there we go. So parks are a big part of what we've done. So this was the grand opening of the second park that we've done, opened up since my administration took over in 2020. This is Store Woods Park. You can see Carl there on the far right-hand side, and I love Carl because he has a Pacer hat on, so that's good. But that's the grand opening, and we had the kids of the neighborhood do the ribbon cutting. They actually cut that, this Store Woods Park is where Old Store Elementary was, and we put this together. So there's a lot of partners with our parks. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going through them, but we wanted to recognize some of those. And then so on Store Woods Park, we saw the potential of the far left-hand side there that you see. That is what we saw as the potential. This is where the school was. Now, it wasn't 100% down, so we had to demolish the rest of it, but most of it was down from the previous administration. They didn't know what they wanted to do. We saw this as, hey, we can do something here. We knew we needed housing. We knew we needed new subdivisions, so we kind of wanted to do that. A lot of people saw the potential for us to cut the grass that was kind of high back there, which we did, but we have turned that into an opportunity. We met with the neighborhood time and time again. At the very first meeting, I asked one neighbor and her and her husband, I said, I want you to bring 3 other neighbors, and I said, here's what we'd like to do. And I brought one of the council member for that area with me on that particular meeting. And they liked what our idea was. We then had neighborhood meetings to get ideas on how to make it work. And we said we want to have a park in that area. So we have since opened up Store Woods Park. And it was planned by a neighbor that person in that neighborhood is an architect. Ryan pretty much designed the whole thing. We put it together, and that's now open, very popular. We're very thankful that it's moving forward. So that's a new one. We also did Halteman back in 21. So that's our 2 new parks so far But we also have this under construction. Now, they got started in the fall. It got winter. They couldn't finish it. But in Westside Park, we have the skate park moving along. And we're real excited about this. Now, I will admit that skating is not something that skateboarding is not something that I am excited about personally doing, but I know there's a segment of our community that is very excited about this. In fact, it took a lot of time to put this together. In fact, there's a group called the Muncie Skate Park Coalition that have been working for over 10 years to put this together through multiple administrations. We were able to put it together. We worked with the council at that time. And we're able to put together some funding there, some funding from EDIT, some funding from the Redevelopment Commission, and that's how we're doing this particular park. There's no grant money on this particular park. Rose Selvey was a big part of getting this put together. So it will be coming. It will be coming. There's a lot of unfinished. Now that the weather will be getting better, we are expecting that that will be moving forward. Now, as you go through this, you've got a looking into the street section. I don't know what that means, but skaters, I'm sure, know what that means. A combo box, too. You've got a mini ramp roller. You've got a combo box, and you've got a back to the curb combo. Now, I'll tell you, the only thing I know about combos is what I get at Lee's Family Chicken recipe. I tell you, I get a combo there, and I love it. The skaters are very excited about this, so we're happy. But that's under construction. It will open this year. Next to that, and thank you, Ro. So another one that is under construction already, if you haven't driven by, Till Pond. Now, that's what we have been calling it because it's a pond off of Tillotson. That's why we called it Till Pond. And in this particular one, we did get a grant, a $500,000 federal grant that is helping us to build this particular park. It is under construction. This will not have playground equipment. This is an urban fishing, free fishing park. That's what this is. So my first year of the administration, I saw an opportunity. I bought this, was criticized by many. What are you doing with it? I said, nothing's going to happen with it for years because I have to figure out how to fund it. But altogether, it's going to be about $1 million park. But it's going to have a huge walking trail, which I'm a big proponent of. A lot of green space. There will be some ADA compliant fishing ramps, and it will be a place for people to go and fish and enjoy nature, and that's what we're excited about. We also think that there'll be some economic development advantages in the 17 acres that are north of that. We've already had some communications with several developers. But once that park is there, I think it'll be a lot like Store Woods Park. It will bring a lot of interest. But that is under construction, so that should be also finished this year. Prairie Creek Reservoir. A lot of people don't understand or haven't really picked up on the value of Prairie Creek Reservoir. We believe that it is the largest city-owned city park with a large body of water. We believe that that's the case. It's about 2,500 acres. 1,300 of it is water at Prairie Creek Reservoir. There's campsites. There's all kinds of shelters. There's boat docks. There's, it's an active, very exciting place to be. But it also holds a number of events, which is all part of quality of place. There are a number of fishing events that happen. There are all kinds of triathlons that happen. It's a great place for triathlons. I've done several myself out there, including Ironman. For 45 years, we have had a 70.3 triathlon. It's the longest continual 70.3 of any city in the continental United States. We are well known in the triathlon community, and thousands of people will be here. There's only 124 spaces left in the last group for this coming Ironman in July. It holds a lot of events. It's a great thing, including we're holding the state triathlon championships in May. So if you don't go regularly to Prairie Creek, I would encourage you to do it. But what we're doing, I got kind of off base there. See the dotted lines there? That is the phase 3 of the trail. So that trail connects to the Cardinal Greenway, which is the longest trail in Indiana at 62 miles. So they've connected it. The Ball brothers are a big part of making this happen, and we're very thankful to that organization for this. But we did get a grant for $266,000, and we continue to improve that park because of the quality of place to help us retain citizens and recruit citizens. That's what the objective of this quality of place efforts that we've been working on. In total, we have over 30 parks. They're everywhere. And so we have them all circled on there. What I'd like to do is, I know several of our Parks Department is here, so Carl Malone is our Park Superintendent. He's in the back. Stand up. And if you work for the Parks Department, please stand up. Thank you so much. Carl has a heart attack every time I say, Carl, I've got something else, because he knows it's going to be another, he thinks it's going to be another park. Often it is, but we've got a great team. We appreciate their efforts, and we're proud that we have these parks in our community. And we're following a plan. All of this is set up. It's all thought out. It's part of the, if you see that it's the master plan is on there, that's through 25. We're working on the one for next year, for the next 4 years after that. But it's all thought out. We've invested in many, many parks all across the community. A big part of our quality of place and quality of life is Ball State University. There's zero doubt of that. And this is what they are building with our help. It's a collaboration, by the way. But what Ball State is putting in the village is about $195 million worth of development in 5 phases. We're helping with 3 of the phases right now. We put in $5 million for infrastructure work. That between the MRC and the City Council, that's $5 million, but it's for $195 million. And here's the other piece. This is being done with private developers, where currently we've been getting no taxes. Now, you look at all those beautiful buildings back there, and we appreciate our leading and #1 employer, but they don't pay property taxes. And what Ball State worked out was they will pay us, and we will start getting property taxes on this private development. So they're partnering with a development company who will then provide us property taxes. That helps us provide more quality of place because of the funding for the rest of the community. And Ball State is a great partner. We're very appreciative of them. That is the new hotel. So it's a 95-room hotel, a Hilton brand that's going up. And I think it's maybe up 3 floors now. The elevator shaft is up maybe 3 floors now. It just began. It will be, and it will be very much needed for our community to help with people who are staying overnight for events here at the Horizon Convention Center. So we're excited about that. Next to it, if you can see the hotels there on the right, to the left is the Performing Arts Center. They estimate that they will have over 35,000 people each year visiting and attending events at this center alone. That doesn't count Emmons and the other ones, at this center alone. And so all of those people will be doing what? They will be going to our restaurants, shopping at our retails, hopefully spending nights in the hotels, and finding out about our wonderful community. And hopefully they will love it as much as I love it and you all love it. But Ball State is just a great partner that we have. We're also working with them on, I guess it's phase 2. Nora and I have been working with them. One of our council members, we've been working with them on phase 2, and Jeff Howe. We're not quite finished. We have to figure out exactly how to get it to work, but phase 2 will be across the street from this, and it's part of those 5 phases. But we greatly appreciate Ball State. We're working with them on a trail that connects downtown, or connects Ball State to downtown. And they partnered with us on Gamebridge Field, which Richard Ivy, Deputy Mayor, handled, which was a collaboration with the Cal Ripken Foundation, Gamebridge, Ball State University, and the City of Muncie to put in that $1.5 million baseball field at our largest park, at McCullough Park. So they're great partners. Minnetrista is another quality of place that we have. This was the site of one of the Ball mansions, one of the Ball brothers, and it burned down, and they donated this and built this wonderful facility that has so many wonderful things. There's additional trails in addition to our already immense trail system, but in addition to that, there's also, this is where we have our weekly farmers market. This is where there are all kinds of events. My Rotary group meets there every Tuesday. There's a museum. There's all kinds of special events that they have. We appreciate all that they do, and I know I saw several people from Minnetrista toward the back of the room there, and we greatly appreciate Minnetrista. You are a quality of place, quality of item for us in our community, and we're very, very appreciative of that. Downtown, this is another park. Cannon Commons is a park just right across the street from where we are, is the Cannon Commons. This is where we have a lot of events, and our downtown development group puts on a lot of these events. Our Muncie Arts Council provides some of these events, and then the Ziegler Foundation and Ball State help fund the Muncie Three Trails Music Series, which has events, and that's what this particular one is. Beautiful event, great place to get together. It's a big piece of our quality of place is that Cannon Commons downtown. And we've got some other development that's going to be happening across the street in the Old Y that we're excited about, which will also enhance that area. And then, of course, what is today? Thursday. So what happens on the first Thursday of every month? We have events downtown, and the weather's not ideal for tonight, but we have a number of events in the downtown area, dozens of events that go on, and we're very appreciative of all the partners that work with us in the downtown area and the businesses that work with us in the downtown area. It's certainly a quality of place when you have all these people very loving, very caring for each other. We do love it. We do love it. First Thursdays, so tonight, if you're not doing anything, come on. Come to our restaurants, come to our stores. So another piece, so that's mostly parks. That's a lot of the quality of place that we have with maybe some of the, what we call, where am I going with this? The next part of the three pieces that we're talking about with the quality of place is housing. We knew we had some housing issues. In fact, we had no new apartment buildings built that weren't for students. We had some built for students, but no new apartment complexes built in Muncie since 2003 when I took office. So we certainly wanted to make something happen. So we've been having a pretty concerted effort on how do we build our residential options, because we know that there are more people who would live here because there's more people that work here than live here. There would be more people living here if they had places to go. And I'll talk about that briefly coming up here. But we've been focused on affordable housing and have done hundreds of units. We've been working on workforce housing and have some under construction right now, and market prices. So we'll just kind of zip through some of these. So just to the north of that park that we had talked about earlier, Store Woods Park, is where it's now Store Estates. So we as a city, we were unable to get any developer. We don't have any developers locally that build subdivisions. They all went out of business when the real estate crisis happened. We were not able to encourage, we were not able to have any success encouraging other developers to come to town, so we built Store Estates. And again, we talked to the neighborhood before we did it. They set up the guidelines on the houses and so forth. So it ended up being 34 lots in a park, and then there's some additional green space that's back there where you really can't, because of the flooding issues, you can't really do any additional work there. But we were very intentional in what we were doing, and we made those lots available to builders. We had some interest from local builders, but that just didn't pan out. Again, this was right after COVID, and so we ended up, D.R. Horton came in and they said, well, we'll buy part of them and you can sell the rest to local builders, and we still didn't have any local builders do it. So we ended up selling all of them to D.R. Horton. The advantage of that is D.R. Horton has their own resources. They know what they're doing. They're the nation's largest home builder, and they've already now got under contract more acreage here in our city for a subdivision when this one's filled. They have 6 houses under construction now. My understanding is one's already sold. None of them are finished. But they have 6 under construction, and they just put out this week the erosion immersion for 2 more lots. So I think they're going to build 2 more. So I think the interest, they've told me the interest is very high. And that's because we haven't had new development since 2003 that was for market price. So there's a real need. In addition to that, we started working in the McKinley neighborhood, which just happens to be across the street from the new YMCA. So when the YMCA picked that location, we made a concerted effort to do what we could to help build that neighborhood. So in 2020, 2021, we started accumulating properties that were dilapidated. We tore them down, and we had all these lots built up. We were able to take several of these lots and sell them to a local builder, Crew Construction. I know they're here. I saw them. And they are building 7 townhomes. You can see that's a recent photograph from earlier this week. Not yesterday, because you'd see rain if that was yesterday. But they've got that under construction already as soon as the weather breaks to build those. These will be market-priced townhomes that are going up. So let me just share with you. Whoops. That's what they're building. That'll be directly across from Muncie Central, catty corner from the YMCA. Those will be for sale. I can't remember exactly the sizes, but I'll just say 1,500 to 2,100, something in those ranges. Different sizes, different colors, different looks. But 7 townhomes. We had to do this, we had to be intentional. And so in 20, we started buying properties. In 22, we went and got the zoning changed. We didn't have anything put together at that point, but you got to have the right zoning to do this. You can't do this on an R1 or R2. You have to be R4 or R5 to get these types of properties. So we made those changes, and it's beginning to fall into place. So we're excited that it's a local builder and that what they're doing. But in addition to that, we took the other portion of our ready monies, and we're going to do Columbus Avenue. So you can see these are some additional townhomes that'll be on that corner. We still own that corner, all those lots on that corner, and a lot of Columbus Avenue the city still has control of. We understand, we know that property control is the key, so that you don't have surprise prices for people who are coming in to develop. But those trees that are in that street, that's Columbus Avenue. This is what roughly it's going to look like. It's already bid out. It's already the final construction meetings. Some of the utility work has already begun, but there will be trees. There'll be diagonal parking. There'll be a lot of green all the way down. And the purpose was to connect the YMCA 3 blocks down to what? The Cardinal Greenway. And what is that? The state's longest trail, 62 miles long. It goes all the way through our city. So that was what the purpose of this. So we're building Columbus Ave to do that, to help that connection. We hope to see development. There's already been a building that is a former church that has been converted into an office building. Still has a lot of additional space, and we appreciate what's in there, and there's offices in there and up and running. So we're excited about that. Washington Square. I think most everybody, Chris, you might know what this was the former jail. So if you look at the little lights, those were the jail windows. So, and I think the Jennings I think I saw, they're here. So we were offered this building by the county. They said, we'll tear it down. And I said, you know what, let me see if I can do something else first. And then I asked, how much to tear it down? And I was told $500,000. I said, well, why don't you go pave some streets, which they did in our area. And so they did Morrison and those up by the hotels, so that they paved that. And I said, we'll just take the building. And then we were able to find a local developer who would build this. And I received a lot of criticism for this, but I knew it was the right thing to do, or I felt it was the right thing to do at the time. And it's turned out beautifully. We now have 15 apartments already available, many of them already occupied. And what's cool is you drive up the ramp where you used to drop off a prisoner. Now you go in, and these apartments park by their doors to their apartments. And all the windows are along the outside, all the parking is on the inside. It's great. And and these guys are more artists than builders, in my opinion. The Jenningses are. So we're very pleased with that. And now they're finishing out the 17 apartments that'll be on the first floor, which also has what? Indoor parking at your door. So it's just a really cool thing. So rather than taking a jail and tearing it down, we decided to see if we could get it remodeled, and I'm thankful for the Jennings doing that particular work. It's beautiful, and I look right out my window and see it, so there you go. This one, the Wright River Lofts, this is the one that told me we were on the right track. This was actually the vision of the previous administration. They didn't have, construction had not started, but I was on the council in December when we approved the bond to do it. They did it, they financed it. We went ahead and started construction in 20. It opened up in 22. It has been fully occupied since. It was the first market-priced apartment complex built in the city of Muncie since 2003. That's why it's so full. But here's what was important that I want you to understand. 39 out of the 55 units, there are 55 units in this building, 39 of the 55 were people who already worked in Muncie, but were living in Hamilton County. And so in the surveys, we asked, well, why did you move? Well, we had wanted to move, but we couldn't find suitable housing. So we knew we were on the right track with this. This company is WS Properties out of Bloomington. They're going to do, it's not part of this presentation, but I'll mention it. They're going to have a sister building catty corner from this one right downtown by this one. So that's all in the works. We're just waiting for Ready 2.0. So we knew it was the right thing to do, and we're very happy about it. Now, all of these things that we've been doing have been, and I want to recognize Jeff Howe over here. Why don't you stand up, Jeff? Jeff, like myself, is a former banker, but he is our Muncie Redevelopment Commission director, and I greatly appreciate his efforts. We have, and we'll talk about this plan in a second, but we've been very purposeful in how we have done economic development. And this one started with the previous administration. We finished it, and it's been very successful. So we're very happy about it. So what are some of those results? Well, we have built affordable housing, we have built workforce housing, and we've put together market price housing. And that is, that's a big piece, because what it has done, 11 neighborhoods have had housing built now in my 5 years here, and they're all showing up there. 11 different neighborhoods. A lot of them were lots where we had torn down old houses, and the lots were just sitting there. We made those available to developers like City View 1, City View 2, Riverbend, Southern Terrace. But those are houses going up throughout our city using our current infrastructure, which means it's less expensive. But it also helps us stay together. And we've helped 11 neighborhoods. Now, I do know that we've got things underway in 4 other neighborhoods that are not yet lit up that will be part of next year's State of the City, I'm sure. But we're working to try and provide the housing options that people need. And Jeff Howe has been a big part of that. I greatly appreciate your efforts, Jeff. Thank you. In total, in these 5 years, we've done 489 units. Now that's under construction or completed, so there's hundreds that are not yet in play, as far as they're not under construction yet. And that total dollar figure is $120,314,164. That's just for the housing. And those are ones that were not on the tax rolls because many of those properties we did not own. I mean, we owned, and so therefore they were not paying taxes, and now developers own those, they're paying taxes, and that helps our general fund, which makes the city council happy, but it also makes me happy. And it should make all of you happy, because that's additional tax base, not increasing taxes, that's additional tax base on unused space. And that's what we've been intentional and working to do, and we have more of it on the way. But that's a lot of money. And that doesn't include the $195 million that Ball State's doing or the $190 million that's going to happen at the mall. It doesn't include any of that. This is just the housing that we've been helpful with. We're excited about that. So what does that mean? So I'm just going to share. The results have been pretty incredible, in my opinion. And I want to thank our building commissioner's office. I know they're here, but if anybody from the building commissioner's office, please stand up. Okay, Richard's here. His activity level, their activity level, has increased substantially because we're purposely building housing of all different income levels. Purposely building housing of all income levels. So in 23, inside the city limits, we had 23 new housing permits, new building permits, 23. The 8 years before I took office, the average was actually 16.1. Now, in 2020, that was COVID, my first year, didn't really know what I was doing. Still don't know everything that I need to know, but I'm still learning every day. Maybe 40 housing permits, then maybe 50. But by 22, we were up to 111, 23, 98, and 207 last year. What we have now is momentum. We have people reaching out to us, and we have companies competing. What did I say about STORE? We couldn't get anybody to come here. Couldn't get anybody to come here. But now we have people reaching out to us, and competing companies and competing investors, competing builders on every single thing we're doing. That puts us in a better negotiating position as we're talking with these developers. There's momentum that has built, 207. Now it says 110% increase, but that's just over last year. If you go over 2019, it's a 900% increase in building permits. And what that does is it provides more people the opportunity to live here. And with the downtown apartment building, we know that people work here and would move here if they have opportunities. So that's why we've been so focused on housing. And I know the county's in the same boat right now. They're looking at how do we increase the housing options for our citizens. So infrastructure. Does anybody like the roads? Oh, please. A few people raised their hands. Well, and that's because we did your street last year. No, what we found out very quickly is that we can't hire all this work out with contractors and make any progress on our street ratings. We had to come up with a different solution. So we intentionally put together a plan, and we bought our own milling equipment, which the machine we call Chewy. And we bought our own roller and our own paving equipment, and we trained our team to do it. And so the end result of that is we've had tremendous amount of paving. I think we paved more streets last year than has ever been paved. The lane miles were incredible. Every single one of these streets got paved last year. Now, not all from our team. We still hire the huge jobs out with the contractors, and typically EMB gets most of those. But every single one of these streets was paved last year with that team. So Adam, our city engineer, I don't know if he's here, but the board, if you work for Public Works, please stand up. There are several back there. You guys are superstars. There's Adam, okay. You're superstars, we greatly appreciate it. And that's why we understand and we appreciate your willingness to learn this new thing. We did not do our own paving in the city before, but it is making a difference. We can pave 3 or 4 times the amount as we were when we had to hire it done. And that's very helpful for our community. That's quality of place. Do we have a long way to go? Oh, absolutely. But we're making progress, and I'm very, very proud of that. So I talk about infrastructure being people as well, so I'm just going to talk about some people. This is our police department. Well, not all. The blue guys were there they were on a bike tour and raising money for former police officers. But several of our police departments participated. We had several police officers fall down while skating, as you can see. Fortunately, those 2 kids kept that officer up. But we created a community engagement team. When I say we, I can't take credit for this. This has been Chief Sloan, Deputy Chief Deegan, and Melissa, Deputy Chief. They've just done an incredible job, completely transforming that police department. In fact, if you're a police officer or even a retired police officer, would you please stand? I know there's several here. Thank you. Thank you for them. So we created a community engagement division, and now there are so many requests for them to go out. I mean, Amy's done such a great job, Amy and Aaron, that there's just so much request, and the relationships are getting so much better. But in addition to that, we've also hired social workers. We have police on staff who are social workers, and that is making a difference in some of those really underserved communities because they're getting to know who Sally is and who Amy is, and it's making a difference. And we're in the process of hiring more. That's part of our plan, is to do more of that. And I'll say this, our goal is 0, and we're yet to get to that. But in 22, there were 13 homicides in Muncie. In 23, there were 8. So that's improvement, but that's still 8. In 24, 3. And that's them. That's not me. That is them. The goal is 0, and we'll get there. But I greatly appreciate what you guys do. We've also been very creative in that we've brought in Ball State interns to be special police officers. Several of them stay on after the term is over, and that's one of the ways we've worked on recruiting. When I took office, we're supposed to have 110 officers. There were only 86. And that's why we've increased the salaries quite a bit. I know some people get frustrated. We heard some of that at the city council meeting. Some people get frustrated that we keep giving these increases, but we've got to retain and recruit people to do our public safety. A mayor's #1 responsibility is the public safety. And we're working, we're doing that. And we were at 86, we're now over 100. We're getting close. It goes like this all the time, but the trajectory is up. And that's what's important, and I'm very proud of that. But that's because they're being creative. They've put QR codes and all kinds of things to do recruiting, so they've done a great job. Beech Grove Cemetery, I saw Troy here. Troy, please stand. This historic cemetery, you guys have done a great job at that facility. The improvements are very dramatic and very visible, and I just want to thank you for all of your efforts. All of your efforts. Do you know what this is? This is the groundbreaking of Station 6. Do you know what that is? That is the first station built in the city of Muncie since, I think, 1986. It's incredible. Now, this took 10 months to get through the council. And again, they asked a lot of questions, but it passed. It wasn't unanimous, but it did pass. But that's the groundbreaking. That's the station. It's actually going up. And now I've requested meetings, and I know the chief's been working on it, to get some of the council members together with me, and let's start working on Station 5. And how do we get that put into play? We know what we want to do, but I have to make it work for the council. I've got to make it work for the fire department, and we have to make it work for the citizens as far as how do we pay for it. And so those conversations I've requested. It just hasn't come together yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there. But Station 6 is on the way. And it was our station in the most need, and it will replace the station that's about a half block north of there, and it's right in McCullough Park, which is our largest park, so we're excited about that. Oh, let me go back. If you're a firefighter, because there's a whole bunch here, I greatly appreciate you as well. Please stand up. So thank you. By the way, I believe that is the busiest fire department per person or per capita or something in the state of Indiana, and I think our police are probably pretty close. Now, for those who are here, we've got some high school kids here, I believe, high school students. Why don't you stand up? These are Muncie Central. Stay standing. We're desperately recruiting for police and fire. How many of you want on? No, I'm kidding. Sit down. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Do we have any other students here? Okay. But I'm serious. We are recruiting for police and fire. So if you're looking, please let us know. Animal care. So we saw funding issues when we took over back in 2020. We've increased the spending on the animal care by about 40%. So the budget, and the council has approved it every time. And Josh is here. I don't know if he's got others from his team. I saw Josh. Josh, are you here? He had an emergency. He had an animal that needed something. They're doing great work. They're nearly fully staffed. We keep the no-kill status, which is the ranking we want to have, and so that's important to me. It was important for me when I was on the council as well, and we want to continue it that way. But thank you for what you're doing. Now, some others, so how do we map financial stability? How do we make sure that we're doing things the right way? So we've made investments, and I've talked about this, investments through housing, through private developers, where we're putting in some for infrastructure, and they're taking it beyond that, but they're also becoming tax-paying citizens, which we greatly appreciate. Making the government more efficient and effective. I want to talk about just a little bit about Patty. Patty, our HR director. Do you have others from HR with you? Yes. So please stand. So when we have one who couldn't be here today, but I appreciate what you are doing. Patty has experience a lot of experience as an HR manager, HR director, and public HR directing experience she was with Terre Haute. And so she's already put in a lot of things into play that needed to be leveraged and needed to be more technology-based. So greatly appreciate your efforts. Please come to me, continue to offer all those things. We'll slowly bring them out. But please continue to do what you're doing. Craig Wright, Matt Wagley, and I see Clarice is here. Please stand up. This is our controller, some of our controllers department. Anybody else here from the controller's office? Okay. This is our most experienced department, and I'm often fearful that somebody's going to come in and say we're retiring. And I know it'll happen, but it's a concern of mine because they know what they're doing. So greatly appreciate what you're doing and helping us be on track with things. I know our insurance team is here. I think I saw, is Melanie here? Please stand up. She's in the very back. She never likes attention, but thank you. It's not an easy thing to do the insurance. I know several of our city attorneys are here. I'm not going to mention them all because I don't know. I see Mark, and I think I saw Ben, but please stand if you're one of our city attorneys. So thank you so much. We appreciate your efforts. They often say, no, you can't do it that way. Here's how you have to do it. So we listen. As Richard says, sometimes I do listen, and we do. But we greatly appreciate your efforts. Sanitary District, there are several people from the Muncie Sanitary District here. I don't know if Rick is here, but there's some board members from the Sanitary District. If you would stand, and employees from the Muncie Sanitary District. Come on, stand up. Okay. Thank you. We appreciate everything that you do as well. And then Gretchen's team, Gretchen runs our community development. We're a large enough city that we're a direct endorsement. It means we get money directly from HUD that we send out to various agencies. And so if you're part of the community development department, please stand up. I know you're over there. There you are. Thank you. But it's not just, so that's most of the employees, that's part of that infrastructure that I'm talking about. But we also know it's important to partner with those who are providing infrastructure that we don't touch, but we can help financially. And that would be mostly through our nonprofit community. So, and we've invested, and I'm just going to share, over $6 million in my 5 years. We've provided $6.19 million to the nonprofits of this community that provide services that are necessary. Now, $2 million of that is from the ARP funds. We took $2 million from the funds, that council and we worked together to make that happen and put $2 million to make sure they all could flourish during those terrible COVID times. But in addition to that, $4.19 million to the various organizations. And I think they're going to pop up here. This may not be all, but this is ones that we support on a regular basis, and they all provide good things, whether it's for programs to help people who are getting out of jail, whether it's programs who are homeless, whether it's arts, Muncie Arts and Culture is on there, Boys and Girls Club, Urban Light Community Development does some great things in the South Central and the industry neighborhoods. You can go on and on and on. And then, of course, we heard from America's Hometown Band earlier today. Thank you guys so much. There you go. So thank you so much. But we feel it's important to take funds and make sure that they have the proceeds they need to help provide the citizens the services that are necessary to have good quality of life. Now, we've done this all intentionally on the financial side, and this is where Jeff and I have worked pretty intentional. We have not once increased a TIF district, or created a TIF district in my 5 years. We pay cash for developments every time we can. We've not borrowed for a development that we've done. And so we're very careful about that. And the end result is, I think we're in a better position. Our general fund has increased substantially because we've not put things in TIF districts that we could have. For example, Washington Square, that apartment building, we could have easily, it's surrounded by the downtown TIF, but we kept it out of the TIF so that those funds, as they pay property taxes, I'm sure he's thrilled about it, but as they pay property taxes, that goes to our general fund. That's purposeful. The other thing that it does is it also goes to the schools at a higher rate, because it's not going, none of it's going to our redevelopment commission, which Jeff runs, but he's on board. He understands that's purposeful. That's what we've been doing. And because of that, because we've not been borrowing, what does that mean? We owe $11,098,810 less than when I took office. $11,098,810. And we paved more last year than we've ever paved before. We didn't borrow a penny for that. We did parks, didn't borrow. We go on and on and on. We're very purposeful. These developments, we pay cash. We come up with ways to maneuver the cash that we have and spend the funds that we have. In fact, last year, you take all the revenues that came into the general fund. It's not like we're putting money in the bank. But we had $375,000 left over. That's it. Now, that may seem like, wow, why didn't you spend that? Well, it was tens of millions is what came in, but we spent it because, in my view, if you're paying taxes on it in 24, don't you want to see the results in 24? You don't want to see the results in 28 or 34. You may not, I may not be here alive at that point. You want to see your money as you spend it. So we've been purposeful to keep it pretty close to what we're spending. Now, the challenges that we had in the first few years, we did have to pay $1.7 million out of that general fund towards settlements for lawsuits that were filed against us for activities that were not ideal. We'll just call it that. But all that time limit has passed. Nobody else can sue us for previous administration challenges or previous, primarily those were police. We can't be sued for that. The time limit has passed. In 23, 0. In 24, 0. So we're trying to do things right. But we did pay millions of dollars, or $1.7 million in claims that had to be paid, and that's just the way it is. But the end result is we've got proven results. And I'm going to talk just a brief amount about Muncie on the Move. We continue to participate in Muncie on the Move. We were one of the early adopters of that program. And if you look over here, the Los Angeles Times back in, it was June 13th of 23, did an article about, all of us poor little, what they call us. What did they call us? That's on there. I can't read it. I don't know if you can read it. Rural. They called us rural towns. Now, I'm not sure there are very many communities in Indiana that would view Noblesville or Muncie as rural. But to California and Los Angeles, we were viewed as rural communities. But they did this article and they featured 2 cities. One, Muncie, Indiana, and the other, Noblesville, Indiana. That was what was in the article. That was what was in the article. People are moving here. We've had 188 people move here through this program, including spouses and children. That is helping our population growth. After 50 years of decline, if you look at the 23 estimates by the U.S. Census, the Muncie Metropolitan Statistical Area, the Muncie MSA, is up 412 people. That's after 50 years of decline. We're up. We have momentum. We have a place where people want to be. And if you look at this, we did some research by a third party, and we've had more people move from Los Angeles than anywhere else, and New York second. But we also get a lot of people from San Francisco and Washington, D.C. They want what we have here in Muncie, and we're happy to give it to them. That's why we're building the houses and we're improving the quality of place. They want what we have, and we're happy to welcome them to our community. And the Los Angeles Times is a third-party endorsement. We didn't know it was happening, but we were thrilled about it. And it had 2 cities, and that could be one of the reasons that I asked Mayor Jensen to be here. It talked about 2 cities, rural towns, it called us. And yet, if you ask Winchester, we're probably not the rural city, we're the big city. But anyway, so to close, I'm just going to say we've tried to do things with vision, and then putting together plans, and then executing those plans, and it's providing results. And we already have 489 units either built or under construction. That's already done. I know, and Jeff knows, we've got a couple hundred more that are in the works, deals almost signed. I mean, they're in the works for more. But it's all planned. It's all and being executed. And it's what we, as bankers, that's what we did. You take things from the start to the finish. If it doesn't close, you don't get that. If that loan doesn't close, there's no revenue for the bank. So there's always a reason for the bank to get the loan to close. You have to sometimes put the package together. Muncie is full of potential. There's no doubt about it. This room being full is an indication of that. We're very rich in our culture and very diverse in our beliefs and our people, and that's a great thing. And we're ready to thrive, and we're headed that direction. Over the last 5 years, we've taken efforts that I think will get us there. And we know this because third-party verification. This map was created by a third party that we asked to do it, and the Los Angeles Times article is another indication, third party. Together, the city, the county, the council, the mayor, the administration, the citizens, the business owners, the nonprofits, all of us, if we work together, we can continue to have Muncie thrive and move forward, and that's the direction that we're going. I'm really excited about this city that I love. I'm really excited about the opportunities that are in front of us today and in the future, and I am very, very proud to be your mayor, and I will just say thank you each for spending the time here today, and God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you. Hope they shut that off. They did. Thank you. You can now leave.